Adequate public notice of this meeting was provided by the Secretary of the Board on May 13th, 2019 to the Home News Tribune and the Clerk of the City of New Brunswick. The time and location of this meeting and all meetings of this body are posted at City Hall, 78 Byard Street, New Brunswick. Roll call, Mr. General.
Mr. Ortiz.
Here.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Here.
Mrs. Seawood.
Here.
Mrs. Sevilla.
Here.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Here.
Mr. Spencer.
Here.
Ms. Varela.
Here.
Dr. Caldwell. Mrs. Solis.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Everyone please stand for the flag salute.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One and all.
The next regular monthly Board of Education meeting will be held on Tuesday, October 15th, 2019 at 7 p.m. here at the New Brunswick High School auditorium. We have a presentation. Dr. Jones.
Yes, I have a presentation from the New Jersey School Board who would like to present an award, a recognition award to one of our board members who have served New Brunswick Public Schools for the past 25 years. I do wish I had something to speak about, but I decided not to speak about Mr. Spencer because I truly believe that his work is not finished. So I'm not going to read his accomplishments because he has a lot more to do. So Mr. Spencer, can you come and please receive this plaque? Gratitude for 25 years of dedication to the children of New Brunswick and the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Gusa, if you could please move on with our next presentation.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to invite up at this time Mr. Tim Timberlake, the principal of the Alternative High School for New Brunswick Public Schools, as well as Dr. Sandra Struthers from the Chamber of Commerce. She is the Executive Director of the Jobs for New Jersey Graduates.
Good evening. Good evening. I want to just speak a little bit about Jobs for American Graduates, what we call the JAG program at the CARES program at the Toll Learning Center. In 2016, we brought in the JAG program. The JAG program is a successful academic remediation and employment skills and working with knowledge and participation. The JAG model is a standard-based model that focuses on personnel, leadership, and career development in both the in-school phase and out of follow-up school phase of the program. The JAG model delivers job readiness skills employers believe that are fundamental to success. This includes marketing program for local businesses, utilizing these contexts to help build partnerships for our students, mock interviews, job career fairs, industry tours. Included in this is a career association activity component. Through that component, we have attended the National Student Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. 2 years, the Leadership Development Conference at Rider University for 3 years, and the Career Development Conference at TCNJ. In addition, as part of our model, students have to do a community service project, which we've developed a food pantry at the LAC, given out food to people in need. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Struthers to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Timberlake. Good evening to the board president, Ms. Elise, and members of the school board, Superintendent Johnson, Assistant Superintendent Scusa. Thank you for allowing us to present these important state and national awards this evening for an outstanding teacher whose contributions for both Jobs for America's graduates and Jobs for New Jersey's graduates deserves recognition, and we are fortunate to have Mr. Creedy as part of our team doing this very important work. As mentioned, I'm Sandra Struthers. I am the Executive Director, Jobs for New Jersey's graduates, and on behalf of Donna Custard, President of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and our team, we are delighted to be here for this special presentation for Mr. Creedy. The awards were initially presented at the Jobs for America's Graduates National Training Seminar in Orlando, Florida, this past July. His work was recently acknowledged by Tom Bracken, President and CEO of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. These awards were recognized in the media recently, and I'm honored to present these awards in the presence of New Brunswick leadership, colleagues, and friends. Mr. Creedy now joins a cadre of high-performing teachers, making a difference in the lives of our young people, and adds value to the 40-year, 37-state network that has transformed the lives of 1.3 million youth around the country since its founding. So please join me in congratulating Mr. Creedy. If you can come up, please. Mr. Creedy had an exceptional year. We're just going to do the JAG part of the presentation. There are 5 awards that he received. One is Outstanding Specialist from Jobs for New Jersey's graduates. He was also recognized as a 505 winner. A 505 winner talks about the 5 data points that different sites either meet or exceed as a part of the program for the follow-up school year. And that includes over a 90% graduation rate, a 60% employment rate, an 80% positive outcomes rate, and also 80% of full-time placement and full-time jobs. And he was able to meet that for the class of 2018. I was remiss in not even adding the Peak Performance Award that he received. We really want to help the students who need the most help. And this Peak Performance Award was for diversity because we want the students that we assist to reflect the actual students who need support from us. And he was also leading an alternative program of our 37-state network, of which only 2 received national recognition, and Mr. Creedy's program was one of those out of the 37-state network. So, Mr. Creedy, congratulations to you, and we are looking forward to another stellar year.
Thank you very much. This is an honor, and it's really the kids that made this all possible. The graduates who got the jobs and utilized the skills we practiced in classroom and are really doing great out there in the world. So, thank you. Yeah, sure. That's great. Thank you.
We'll just take one on this side. How's that?
This is the nice one. Give everybody one.
motion to accept the minutes from the August 20th, 2019 meeting?
So moved. Second.
Mr. General?
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood. Ms. Sevilla.
Yes.
Mrs. Shukaitis.
Abstain.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
I abstain.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 6, the student representative report, Ms. Jaylene Martinez.
As we started off the school year with the outstanding addition of 700 to 800 freshmen, the staff, faculty, police officers, counselors, VPs, our very own principal, Mr. Redler, and our superintendent, Dr. Johnson, give a huge and warm welcome to our incoming students by applying them into the student entrance. Since it is still the beginning of the year, there are so many clubs and organizations that are starting up. However, there are some up and running are already planning on the ways to make our school even better. For example, in peer leadership, we will be facilitating tours during back-to-school night to any families that are new to the school, while assisting in classrooms with our faculty who are in need of translators. We are currently spending time in class preparing for our fall retreat at the Princeton Blairstown Center, where we will sharpen our capabilities for many activities that incorporate teamwork, trust, and communication. Upon our return, we will continue to expand upon our leadership capacity as we get set to conduct freshman outreach and assist them in transition to the high school, as well to our National Honor Society, as we are planning our annual car wash to raise money for our upcoming 2020 induction ceremony, creating a project to give presentations to ELL students to inform and include them to participate in after-school clubs, sports, teach them about SAT, ACT, and post-graduation plans. Also, we are hopefully teaming up with Movimiento Cosecha, the Cosecha movement, to fight for permanent protection, dignity, and respect to all immigrants. Even though it is just the beginning of the school year, we are starting off great.
Thank you so much for that report, Ms. Martinez. We appreciate you on the board. And I would just like to go back to item number 5. I happened to skip the superintendent's report. Dr. Johnson?
Yes, good afternoon, good evening. First, I'd just like to say, I just want to say, here we are again starting a new school year. And this is probably one of the smoothest school years to start since I've been here. So I must say I thank everyone, board members, cabinet, as well as the principals, in terms of getting things ready and preparing for our students. So I want to believe that since we started this year, those vibes, those feelings are going to transit into our students, and we will continue to make a difference in the lives of our kids. I do know that we have a lot more to improve upon, and we will continue to improve, but I feel strong that our system is moving in a direction just by some of the recognitions that we have seen over the past few years, as well as Mr. Creed, who was just recognized today, all components of our system. Just also want to just say, right now we have about 10,336 students enrolled in the district as of now. I was happy to see or hear through emails that all of our schools that participated in Future Ready have received certification from the state of New Jersey in regards as preparing our students for the future. If you don't know, there's 3 levels of certification. There's a bronze level, a silver level, a silver level, and then a gold level. All our schools are at the bronze level. We have 2 schools at the silver level. Once we get all schools at the silver level, we will apply for the gold level. So we are striving to be a leader in the state of New Jersey once again. Some of the tenets of Future Ready Schools are to provide a personalized student-centered learning environment for our students, and we have to provide evidence that we're doing that. Also, to provide robust learning experiences that prepare students for technology-driven workforce and for the world. We also are proving that we are tapping into our students' passions and interests to engage them deeper in the learning process And most importantly, we are implementing research-based practices, and where our teachers are showing the care and qualification to move our students forward. So this is not something that's easy to do. It takes a lot of work. I would also like to thank the team that worked on this with our school administrators to provide the evidence and to recognize New Brunswick. All our schools will be recognized at the next school board this year. I'd also like to recognize that during opening day, we had the Governor of New Jersey, Mr. Murphy, Commissioner of Education, Repillette, and our County Superintendent, Kyle Anderson, who actually came to New Brunswick during our ribbon cutting ceremony for P-TECH. The comments that were said off the record, on the record, I could just tell you they were very, very impressed with the program that we are putting in place. There has been comments that New Brunswick is poised to be the leader in New Jersey to also model what this program should look like for other school districts to follow. And of course, that's a lot of weight on us, but we are prepared, we are ready. It just shows the hard work that our staff is doing to provide the optimal learning environments for our students. Currently, we have about 40 students that are now on their way to earning an associate's degree at no cost to the district, as well as have some experiences in the workforce. So I want to thank the team that worked together. I would like to thank the board for saying, Dr. Johnson, this is what we want, let's go get it, we got it. I don't understand, sometimes you work, we got the school up and running from February, March, April, May, June. The students were taking classes in July. So again, this was a community effort, and I just want to thank everyone that, we are doing the best and we are providing the avenues for all students to be successful here in New Brunswick. Lastly, I do want to just address some concerns nationally regarding the vaping epidemic that is crippling our students and our families. This is very, very serious. Currently, the Cabinet is working on some plans to really put some information out to our parents, as well as some awareness to our students on how serious this is. We have cases of vaping in our schools. We are going back to look at our policies. We do know that there's a lot of different type of gadgets that students use. We do know that vapings are also embroidered into hoodies. And our students really are not aware of the dangers. We're watching the news each and every day regarding the jewels and the flavored vaping, that students really don't understand the impact, and we're not going to wait for our students or any student to get hurt. So we are now building a campaign that we will launch pretty soon. In addition, Ms. Crawford, our head school nurse, has put together a letter that we will be sending out to parents this week, as well as we will post this letter on our website. Ms. Antoine Smith as well is working on this campaign. And I'm happy to announce, and we'll provide more information in the future. There will be a district presentation that will be hosted at AC Redshaw on October 17th with the title, Hidden in Plain Sight. And this presentation is open to the community. Hidden in Plain Sight, it's just a presentation that is centered around a teenager's bedroom set. And in this set, there are a lot of things that looks normal to the eye, but they're actually paraphernalia that parents may not be aware of. And I look forward to promoting more of this throughout the school year. And again, looking forward to a great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. That was a very thorough report. If I could please have a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
Second.
Mr. General.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Sevilla. Mrs. Shukitis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer. Yes. Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 7, the Facility Committee Report. Mr. Spencer.
Yes, the following is the water testing results. New Brunswick Public Schools has completed its annual comprehensive testing of 333 water sources, including those in facilities utilized by students. The testing results for 2019 were favorable, and we can definitively say that all district water sources, water fountains, kitchen, food, prep equipment, ice machines, and sinks are safe. Of the 333 water sources tested, 9 had readings above the acceptable limits, and they were immediately taken out of service. 1 at Livingston School, room 5, 1 at Woodrow Wilson School, hall by room 207, 1 at Roosevelt School, trailer 1, 4 at Paul Robeson School, rooms 105, 211, 202, and the kitchen kettle sink. 2 at New Brunswick High School, room H, 154, and 119D room. We have begun remediation on the 9 water sources taken out of service, and retesting will be conducted. The current water testing reports are available on the district's webpage. We will continue to test our water sources on an annual basis, despite state regulations that require testing only once every 6 years. This level of attention of the district's drinking water highlights our commitment to the health of our students and everyone else who consumes water in our schools. As a reminder, children are far more likely to come in contact with lead at home than at their school. If you have concerns, I recommend that you discuss this risk of lead poisoning with your healthcare provider. The air conditioning and electrical distribution project at Roosevelt School is completed, with the exception of few punch list items. The project stayed on budget and was completed on schedule. The air condition has been turned on and operating as designed. The solar expansion project is completed with the exception of testing and punch list items. Before this expansion project, our solar panels generated approximately 3.4 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year. By adding the solar carports at the administrative building, the middle school, and the high school, we have increased our projected yearly kilowatt hours by approximately 1.2 million. The solar panels will save us approximately 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour over the utility company's rate. So with this 4.6 million kilowatts generated, the total projected yearly savings will be $300,000. And that's a tremendous savings. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. We'll move on to item number 8, the Athletic Committee report. Mrs. Sadowski.
Thank you, Mrs. Solis. The Athletic Committee met earlier this afternoon, and we have a full report. The high school sports have started their seasons. The football team right now is 2 wins, no losses. And they have been able to have 3 teams this year, freshman, JV, and varsity. Boys soccer is 5 wins, 1 loss. They just lost today to Edison, and they defeated North Brunswick recently 2-1. North Brunswick was the county champion last year. We also have been named as one of the top 20 soccer programs for young men in the state. Girls soccer, we're fielding a JV and varsity team this year. Unfortunately, their record is 0-3, but we hope that as the season goes on, that we get better. Girls tennis is 1-5, and girls volleyball is 1-4. We have a freshman JV and varsity with girls volleyball also. Co-ed cross-country will be starting their season soon. We have Play It Smart program here at the high school. Just so that everybody knows, it will be starting again on study hall, and tutoring will begin on Monday, September 23rd. Our athletes must maintain a 2.0 GPA. The content teachers are here, the tutoring is available. Make sure if your child is an athlete that they are taking part in the tutoring and study hall program. It's important. Middle school, we'll be having a boys and girls soccer team and a co-ed cross-country. You should be receiving sometime this week a notice about a parent meeting, and at that time you will be notified that all middle school students will be expected, student athletes will be expected to maintain a C average. No excuses. If you do not maintain that average, you will not play. So, got to get our student athletes up to par. And our coaches are going to be having an added responsibility of monitoring some of our middle school athletes. That is the conclusion of the athletic committee report, and I need a motion to accept the bank reconciliation for July and August 2019.
So moved. Mr. Ortiz. Yes. Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mrs. Sevilla. Mrs. Shukaitis. Yes. Mr. Spencer. Yes. Ms. Varela. Yes. Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 9, the Curriculum and Policy Committee report. Mrs. Seawood.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. The Curriculum and Policy Committees met last week. We reviewed the new curriculum for P-TECH High School and other revisions of curriculum items. We also reviewed the policies that need to be approved and adopted on the first reading because all 3 are mandatory. 1 is a revision. 1, earned sick leave, which was recently approved by the legislature, is a new policy. And then we have the Equal Employment Anti-Discrimination Practices policy. So we put forth those to be approved on the first reading. And the other reports and curriculum items are included on the consent agenda, as well as the approval or adoption for the policies. And that's our report.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Seawood. Item number 10, Dr. Caldwell is not here, so we will not have a report from the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey. We'll move on to item number 11, which is my report. I'm really happy to see all of the administrators here this evening. It's really exciting to start a new school year, but with a new school year, we face a lot of challenges, not just professionally, but personally, getting back into the swing of things. And as a lot of you may already know, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And I just wanted everyone to take the time for yourselves when you're outside of work to take a breather and to remind yourself that we're all going through it and there is help if you need it. And if you need help, you can definitely reach out to those resources. And if you know someone that might need help, don't hesitate to give them either a listening ear or the resources that they may need. Because we've seen far too many cases where people sometimes are interacting with us on a daily basis, take their own lives, and we never really either anticipate it or we see signals that we could have picked up on. So let's be there for one another as a district, as a community. And I really do look forward to this being a great year. I'm happy to know that our varsity sports are doing so well. And educationally, as part of that new policy that was, or not new policy, the policy that's been revised for the middle school sports, the C average, we do look forward, the board does look forward to increasing that grade point average across the district for all sports, and including any extracurricular activities. We do prioritize academics in this district. We are a well-rounded district. We do want to make sure we prioritize education. So with that, I will move on to item number 12, the public comments. If anyone has a comment, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hello, my name is Rafael Manzanares, coming from 140 New Street. Good evening, school board. I am a part-time professor of English at Middlesex County College in the New Brunswick Center, and I work at City Hall. I am a New Brunswick High School alumnus, lifelong resident, and fervent participant in my community. Tonight, I would like to introduce some of our county's finest college students that share my concern regarding the educational system. What started as a simple hypothetical assignment has led to our class meeting here to humbly advocate for the return of grammar to the New Brunswick High School curriculum for native English language speakers. Here are my students.
Good evening, I am Brianna of 140 New Street, and I want to share my concerns about adding grammar to the curriculum. Currently, teenagers and young adults are not formally learning grammar, which causes them to lag linguistically. Grammar is significant in many professional fields. When one is completing a task for an employer or interviewing for a new opportunity, first impression is a lasting impression. This includes the way one speaks. The way one speaks can transfer to work ethics. If one's vocabulary includes abbreviating words among other shortcuts, or even repeatedly using the same words, the opportunities might be unlikely. The way one speaks represents the way one behaves. High schools are teaching students about the real world and how to get a job. But how can I receive a job in the real world if I am lacking skills like grammar? Please teach grammar in high school instead of forcing us to learn the hard way by failing college-level writing classes. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Jennifer. This letter is regarding the importance of grammar in local high schools. Personally, I believe grammar is important for communication. Effective communication can prevent improper interpretations. In other words, grammar can provide a clearer understanding of a message that people are trying to convey. One can think of grammar as the guidelines for effective communication. For example, in the business world, people service clients from all over with different problems. One of the main problems relates to communication, which one can attribute to limited or ineffective use of grammar. When communicating with coworkers or clients, the message being passed on needs to be direct and as accurate as possible. people could effectively use grammar, their directions or goals would be transparent. Learning grammar at an early age and again in high school can prepare students for adulthood where effective use of grammar is essential.
Good evening, my name is Julie Beth Martinez. Dear school board, think back to when you were in school. Did you ever wonder if grammar is important? I did not, but in retrospect, grammar is very important. Grammar is the structure of languages in general, how people use and rearrange words and sentences for different situations, including the principles and form of words, phrases, and sentences. Grammar consists of syntax, semantics, morphology, and phonology. Syntax is word arrangements that creates well-formed sentences. Semantics is the meaning of words. Morphology is the study of the smallest units of language. Phonology is word pronunciation. Every student should learn grammar to become better readers and writers. The real-world application might not seem so evident in this time of high school life, but it will definitely be a valued skill for the future. From going to job interviews, college applications, or even public speeches like this one. This knowledge will help for better understanding and expression. Some may see it as unimportant, but others see it as academic salvation to be better. I'm requesting for this change in the high school curriculum and introducing an introduction to English grammar class, which will ensure that every district prepares its students for college and their professional lives. Thank you.
Good evening. I am writing this letter to encourage the possibility of adding grammar classes to the school curriculum. Although the English field does include most aspects of grammar in the English language, it should have its own completely different course available. This is an extremely important topic because this gives students the ability to express and communicate their thoughts proficiently. Without a detailed understanding of grammar usage, some words or phrases may not come across with accurate intent. Grammar is the foundation of communicating effectively in the English language. Currently, many younger adults and teenagers on social media have an extreme lack of formal understanding of grammar and spelling. Occasionally, I can be one of those people myself, and the same observation is what concerns me. People need to make sure that aside from making communication easier, they also know how to be professional and speak in a clear, comprehensible manner. According to an ACT study, which is a group of PhD certified national research leaders in college and workforce, 20% of college freshmen take remedial writing courses because they lack the basic foundations of writing and grammar. Please consider this fact and understand that this is an educational problem that is oppressing many current and prospective students. Therefore, grammar is an absolute necessity to teach for the youth of today and to keep communication consistently coherent for the future. Thank you, and please consider this matter.
Good evening. My name is Alexander Krepnik of 140 New Street, New Brunswick. I have great concern about the state of grammar in the current educational system because very few are prioritizing it appropriately. In 1985, the National Council of Teachers concluded that grammar does not lead to improvement in students' speaking and writing, and that in fact it hinders development of students' oral and written language. Admittedly, this was over 30 years ago, but the sentiment remains in today's society. I attended schools all over New Jersey, first through third grade in Bayonne, third through fifth grade in the city, and finally fifth through my senior year of high school in my freshman year attending Middlesex County College in New Brunswick. I started learning about expletives, passives, and active voices, and more. Now I can be a more competent adult. Therefore, I believe that all school districts should teach this much earlier. English is a major language in this country and should at least be taught as in depth as a flow language. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Sanjana Bodala. I am a student of Middlesex County College and I would like to present a proposition before the board. I would like to request the board to kindly consider a change in the high school curriculum and introduce English grammar as a compulsory subject. I am presenting this proposition with sincere thought and hope that the board will consider the reasons behind this proposal. Grammar involves rules of syntax, pronunciation and structure of language. By teaching students to abide by organizational strategies during their speech, students will learn to inherently discipline themselves. Grammar helps improve students' oral, verbal, written, and oral skills and will welcome students to a world of wonderful knowledge and enlightenment. Many high school students plan on continuing their education and attending esteemed universities, which expect students to be fluent in English. Students endure testing on various aspects to determine their language skills, and one needs grammar to ensure success in these examinations. Education is the foundation of a person, and many higher education institutions demand knowledge of grammar as a prerequisite to their courses. By learning grammar at the higher school level, students will be more prepared for their college education. English is the language of today and the future. It is one of the most widely spoken languages all over the world and the most important medium of communication at global and local levels. For any person to truly succeed in today's world, English is a necessity. Furthermore, to learn English, grammar is essential. Without grammar, one cannot excel in English, and without English, it is nearly impossible to achieve success professionally. The corporate world, where most students enter after their education, requires these grammar skills to help save time and money, and even a reputation, and unfortunately at times, even their jobs. Grammar eases communication and enables a coherent flow of information from the speaker to the listener. It avoids needless ambiguity and confusion. Communication has the power to open hidden avenues, and grammar is the most powerful tool that we can give to students to make the best of their skills. Hence, I would like to request the board to kindly include grammar as an essential and mandatory subject in the high school curriculum to ensure that all students are best prepared for the lives outside the world. Thank you.
Thank you to the school board for listening to us speak. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, not just for this, but for introducing the P-Tech school to our district. This is a phenomenal effort that I wish I had when I was in high school. Math and science were often my strengths, so much that throughout college I worked hard with my hands and eventually started a small construction company. I will not promote my company by mentioning the name, but instead will promote my efforts, which are simply to improve the living conditions for underprivileged residential areas without seeking a multi-million-dollar salary. Language arts, as they call it, was my weakness, but studying grammar and writing helped me improve on my weaknesses, and I believe the same can happen to future generations. I hope many students can take advantage of what P-Tech will offer, both the high school and associate degree simultaneously. I also hope that grammar can make a return to the curriculum to aid in your transformative educational effort to improve students' command of the English language. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manzanares, and thank you to all the students that came out tonight to present to us. We will take it under advisement. If there's anyone else in the public who would like to make a comment, please step forward.
Good evening. Honorable Answer, 87%. Mr. Moreno, Favorito. I want to, first of all, I want to commend this gentleman because of what he's brought up. I think grammar has become too elitist. In other words, it's like it's reverted to the higher part of education. I know that I've been involved with a few lawsuits, and when I read the presentation by the attorneys, they started with grammar. They started with what words meant, and this is what this was there's a jump off point. And if you don't know how to start arguments in law school, many times you get swamped if you don't understand a lot of the meanings of these words. And I've heard too much of, I've seen, so I know exactly what this gentleman is talking about. Now, carrying on. Yes, I wanted to kind of follow up on some stuff that we talked about last time. A woman came by and she asked that the board report be, at least have a few reports in Spanish, and I don't see any of the board minutes in Spanish. I think that, for a population that is probably over 70% Hispanic or Spanish speaking, it might have been a good service or something to listen to. That's one. The next follow-up that I wanted to talk about was that on the last meeting I was talking about the bonus. And when I went home, it struck me because you had 5 points. I'm talking to the superintendent now, Dr. Johnson. You had 5 points that you had to meet in order to get your bonus. Now, I don't know how the board feels, but we want to give you a bonus, okay? And the 2 pieces that you failed on were on algebra and something else. And it struck me and said, well, if I had been in school and I got 60%, I would have failed. So I don't want you to fail. So I wanted to give you a little suggestion, because I think it's as much academic as not. And okay, like for instance, algebra. If you say to the public or to your people that you want algebra, and by the way, the last time you said that you wanted a 50% passing rate and you only had a 9%. I said replace that. I said you have no control over it. You, Aubrey Johnson, have no control over that. You don't have direct control. So it's kind of invalid for you to kind of go with that. Instead, why don't the board say to you, look, we give you 5 weeks vacation. If you take only 2 weeks, we will pay you your bonus. We will pay you your bonus. That's as much academic. We value your presence here for 3 weeks out of the 5. You need to be at least 2 weeks with your family. Be there. Okay, come back refreshed. I remember years ago when I tried to work in the summertime. And I got back to school and I was beat. We need rest. Okay, we need rest. So we say, you get 5 weeks, I don't know how many weeks vacation you get, but if you take only 2 weeks, we pay you a good part, we pay you your bonus. And that's as much academic. As we talked about last time, that attendance is academic. Okay, the second thing, and also if you do that, with algebra, if you eliminate the algebra thing, you won't have people, teachers sending out students who are not eligible to take algebra.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson. Just so you know, you're almost out of time.
I understand, but that gentleman over there, when he comes on here, you give him as much time as you want, and I can verify that. You know that, so don't, please don't. All right, the next thing.
Would you like to ask a question?
Yes, yeah. got with the two cases I need not mention. The two cases, what has happened, there were serious breaches that occurred that I think are too embarrassing to this district, and you should consider resigning.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Your time is up. If there's any other comments from the public, please come to the podium.
Yes, hi, Lindy Stewart, South Park Boulevard. I have a question about item AF, where the New Brunswick Health Science Technology High School, there will be a contract between the collaborative agreement for the innovational IEP program. The cost is $19,446 per student. What is the cost for other students in the district? What's our average cost, or what's our cost for a high school student that's not at health science?
Mr. General, if you could please answer that question.
I don't know the exact figure offhand, but it's somewhere in the $16,000 to $17,000 range. I will point out that this cost per student is higher because it also includes the amount of money that we pay this company towards the payoff of the building that was built at no cost to New Brunswick Board of Ed. So this cost per student is a little bit higher because it actually includes paying off construction for the building.
Oh, okay, now I'm really confused. I thought that the building would belong to Robert Wood.
So when the building was built, the land belonged to Robert Wood Johnson, which we have a land lease to the New Brunswick Board of Education. The building was built by Innovative Educational Programs, by their monies, and we then leased the building from them, and at some point in time in the future, every year we're paying off the building. I think in the next 5 to 6 years, that payoff goes down. Eventually it'll be zero, and we'll own the building.
So we're paying it off at the tune of $3,000 per student per year.
I didn't say that exact number, but I was wondering why that number is higher than the average per pupil student.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because the teachers, as far as I know, do not get paid more than teachers. I think they get paid less. So, yeah, I was wondering what the difference would be for the numbers to be so high. And wouldn't we be better off staffing the school ourselves? But that's not an option, right? Because we have to keep paying for the building. So is this a long-term contract, I guess is my question.
The answer is that we could pay the building off at any time if we wanted to put up, there's an amortization schedule that the board previously approved about a year or so ago. And the answer is, sooner or later, I would say somewhere in the next 5 to 6 years, through these continued payments, we will own the building. That does not mean that we won't continue to contract with IEP to provide the services.
But we wouldn't have to contract with them. Do we have to contract with them now? Is that part of the whole deal?
No. We do not have to contract with them, no.
We could just not contract with them and just keep paying off the building? Or we would have to pay it off in full if we were not going to have a contract with them?
If we didn't want to contract that with them,
we'd have to
pay off the building.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Yolanda Hernández. Quiero agradecer por todos los buenos logros de la Junta en las escuelas. Good evening. My name is Yolanda Hernandez. She would like to thank the board and everyone for all the accomplishments so far. Quiero dar las gracias por el aire acondicionado en Roosevelt. I would like to thank Rose for the air conditioning at Roosevelt School. Y también quiero preguntar cómo puedo encontrar el reporte que manda la Junta a la SDA cada 5 años
el número de estudiantes aumenta. So she would also find out where she can find the report that is sent to SDA, that is sent every 5 years, which is called the Long Range Facilities Plan. De acuerdo a la información que hemos conseguido, el SDA comenta que si la masa de estudiantes aumenta, es una probabilidad positiva para tener edificios nuevos.
So according to the SDA report, if the number of students increases, it's a good opportunity to increase facilities.
So she'd just like to know how often we send, or when we send the report to the SCA? Is that correct? Is that the question?
I want to know when the sum is sent to the SDA, and I want to file for printout.
So Frank and I can both answer this question, but I'm going to give it a try. He's going to correct me when I'm wrong. The 5-year long-range facility plan always is submitted to the Department of Education when they're ready to accept the new and updated long-range facilities plan. They've worked on the new software for that long-range facility plan since I think Frank worked at the state, how many years ago? Over 5 years ago. So anytime you do a new project, though, you send them a letter asking for that project to be updated to your long-range facility plan. So the last time that we submitted a long-range facility plan, I believe, was about 4 to 5 years ago. It's good through the year 2020. And now the State Department of Education has come out with the new software finally, right? Okay, so the new software isn't out yet. Sometime in the next year or so, there will be software out yet, and we will be sending them a new long-range facility plan. How'd I do?
Lo que encontré fue el reporte del 2013 y este abarca el 2020 y del 2020 esperamos hasta el 2025.
So she's saying that she found a long-range facilities plan for 2013. So she wants to clarify she has to wait until 2020 for the new plan, which will last until 2025.
The long-range facility plan, and probably what you saw was the approval letter from the Department of Education. It's really data that is put into a computerized software system, and then the state approves the response and the report to that. So I believe you may have the most current full plan, and then there's amendments in between then and now. The last amendment was to bring in the Paul Robeson Community School for the Arts, so that was the last time it was amended to the state, just to include that project. The next full amendment, as Mr. Janron said, will be when they finally get the new software up and running, so we put it in the computerized system.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone else that has a public comment?
Good evening, members of the board. Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. I want to start by thanking some of the board members, especially Mrs. Sadowski, for making me feel welcome at the grand opening ribbon cutting of the P-Tech Academy. It was a very enjoyable event. I appreciate being able to be there. I'm glad to see a new school coming online because I believe we need more schools, not less. And I do want to ask about a couple of these things that we've talked about already tonight. So the health sciences school has said that, you know, we can pay to own the building and we will pay to own the building. What about the land? What's the nature of that lease with Robert Wood Johnson? How many years is the lease for, and what does the future hold for the land?
I haven't looked at it, but it's a long-term lease, could be 99 years.
Okay, but we won't own the land even after we're done paying IEP?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the P-Tech school, of course, is a separate school from New Brunswick High School. So I wanted to ask, the health sciences technology schools statistics have traditionally been lumped in with the high schools. Now that we have a separate P-Tech academy, is the board going to give any thought to breaking out the statistics for health sciences as well? Or is P-Tech going to be lumped in as well with the high school? How's that going to work?
Dr. Johnson?
So currently, health sciences is lumped into, the data for health sciences is lumped into the high school, and we disaggregate that out. The P-Tech, and maybe we got to be careful with semantics. Right now, it's considered a program. We only have 40 students, but eventually in 4 years, we may be close to 200 or 170. Once that happens, I will officially apply to designate it as its own school. And then from there, once we get approval and go through, the application process, once it's considered its own school, then the data and disaggregation will come specifically to P-Tech.
Okay, and you expect that to happen when?
It depends on the size of the building. So if we're going to grow 40 students in 4 years, that will be about 160 students, maybe around that time.
Thank you for the answer. I do want to ask about this screw up with the solar panels. I know it sounds great that some of the projects were completed and are delivering, but I know that you've held off on Redshaw, Robeson, and Roosevelt, and there are still 18 concrete pillars outside this building. You can all see them when you walk out, that were installed by someone in a place that they were not supposed to be. And at your last meeting, I asked about this, and I was told that apparently someone was under the impression this was the place the solar panels were going to go. Of course, it's not. The solar panels are on the side of the building, not the front. So who made that mistake? Who was under the impression that that was the right place?
Mr. LaVilche?
The original approvals and design were to put the solar panels in the front of the building. So there was no mistake made. I think once the project was underway and discussions went on, we realized that we really felt that the solar panels shouldn't be in the front of the building, but it was approved, planning board approved that way. Through discussion, we felt that maybe we should remove them, put them in the back of the building, and that was the discussion that was there.
Okay. And I was told that they were going to be shaved down and it would, be resolved shortly. This was last month. I see no change. Is there any timeline, or who's going to take responsibility for getting rid of those pillars? I see one of them they even chopped into the sidewalk to put it in, and they have not fixed it.
I don't know if we gave you a timeline last time, but we will take care of it on our end as far as what the final resolution would be, how do we remove them, and what we do with them.
So it would be at a cost to the taxpayers of the district?
It's through internal, our working staff will do it. We're not paying an outside contractor.
I see. So, but it'll be your responsibility, not the contractors.
Correct.
Thank you. And finally, I have to ask about the rumors that Robert Wood Johnson is interested in buying the Lincoln Annex School, which of course just opened 3 years ago. Can anybody tell me how much the district spent on opening that school, converting it from its state that it was bought in?
Rich, would you like to take this one?
$22 million.
So within the past 5 years, the school district, the taxpayers of the school district have put forth $22 million to turn the St. Peter's school campus into a public school. And it's my understanding, I spoke to the superintendent, and he said, quote, there's conversations right now about the property. So, Mr. Superintendent, can you tell us who is having these conversations about the purchasing, changing hands of the Lincoln Annex School?
I think the conversation was about, is there properties, and I tell you from the minute I came into this district, that we've always been looking for properties in the district because we're growing. That was my conversation with you.
Okay. Well, I spoke to some of the board members, and they told me they were hearing what I was hearing. Robert Wood wants to buy that property. So, is that true?
There's conversations about that.
Okay. And who is having those conversations?
You know, that might be negotiations, but I'm the board attorney and no proposals have been made whatsoever to this district to buy it other than verbally and rumors swirling. So there's no official anything. If they want to buy it, they have to come to us with a proposal. They haven't.
Okay, but
If that's who wants to buy it, I don't even know that. I'm the board attorney. I would be one of the first to know.
Okay, so you're not part of the conversations.
No, I'm not.
Okay, so superintendent's alluded to the fact there's conversations, and I just want to know who's having them. Are board members having the conversations? Is the administration having the conversations? Are other officials having the conversations? I don't want to see a public school get sold.
There's going to be no comment on this for now, Mr. Credible. Do you have any other questions?
Okay, well, I would think that the school district at this point in time, considering the demand for schools, should not be selling any schools. And especially not any brand new ones that we just spent taxpayer money on. This was, of course, not an STA project, so this is New Brunswick money that went to build that school. And I don't think anybody should be able to just take that away from our community. If Robert Wood has a proposal that they want to make in public and they want to do their deals in public, that's one thing. But I don't like the sound of this, that there's shady conversations happening behind the scenes. We're all hearing rumors that Robert Wood's going to buy the school, but no one is willing to say who's actually having the conversations. I'm not okay with that, and I hope that the school ultimately is not sold, because it's a fine school, is my understanding. It's working well. There's just because somebody else wants the land, that's their problem, not the school district's problem. And I hope that you'll be very skeptical of any wheeling and dealing with real estate that involves us selling the real estate. It's one thing if you have a property you want to acquire, and I applaud the district for opening a new school in the 40 Van Dyke place, but we need more schools. And actually, if you look at the history, the Washington School was sold by this body for just $300,000. And now that neighborhood doesn't have a school. And it was sold to a partnership of Robert Wood and St. Peter's Hospital for just $300 grand. So I really feel like we got fleeced then. This was before my time, of course, but I think that that piece of real estate is working great as a school, and the district should not be entertaining negotiations. And I think that if you want to put the rumors to rest tonight, you can, because you own the school, and you can say it's not for sale. Please stand up and say that school is not for sale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is there anyone else in the public who would like to make a comment? We would be moving on to item number 14, the Finance Committee report. Dr. Caldwell is not here. I'm sorry. I'd like to have a motion on the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Mr.
Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood. Mr. Padilla. Mrs. Shukitis.
Yes, I have a few abstentions. Items G, M as in Nancy, W, AG, and AE.
So noted. Mr. Spencer. Yes. Ms. Varela. Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Again, item number 14, Dr. Caldwell is not present to give the Finance Committee report. Are there any members of the Finance Committee report who'd like to just request a motion to approve?
So, just in their absence, so you have the Finance Committee in front of you. It is the bills list and the Secretary's report, so we just need a motion to approve the Finance report.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Ms. Sevilla. Mrs. Shukitis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer.
Yes, I understand on page 3.
Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item number 15, I'll read the resolution for closed session. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act NJSA 10:4-6 provides that certain matters of a public body may be discussed in closed session, and whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss matters as follows. 1, personnel matters. 2, matters of attorney-client privilege. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the aforesaid subjects shall be discussed in closed session by this Board of Education and administrative staff, and the minutes of said closed session discussion will be made available to the public when the reasons for the non-disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act no longer exist. If I could have a motion for closed session, please.
Mr. Ortiz. Aye. Mrs. Sadowski.
Yes.
Mrs. Seawood.
Yes.
Mr. Dia. Mrs. Shakaitis.
Yes.
Mr. Spencer. Yes. Ms. Varela.
Yes.
Mrs. Solis.
Yes.
We are in closed session. We will be back.